Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. The Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need a roof repair or replacement, Tom Laporta will take care of you online at laportaroofing.com. Okay, big news dropped today. Matt Gaetz dropped out of the running for Attorney General.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been talking over the last week, because obviously it's a controversial pick. I like Matt Gaetz, you know. Obviously Trump likes Matt Gaetz. He picked him. But I want you guys to look at the big picture here and what's going on, okay? Trump today did not come out and defend Matt Gaetz. He didn't make any comments other than, all right, he did the right, you know, he steps aside, moving on. Anyone that Trump picks for his cabinet, if they don't make it for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that Trump is the boss and he won re-election. And you don't want to get married to any of these people because they're not important. Trump's important, okay? And I was talking a couple days ago. I was doing a live stream on YouTube. I was at the mall. I was waiting for my phone to get repaired. I had some time. I did a live stream on YouTube, and I was talking about this, and I said, you know, because we didn't know that Gaetz had dropped out then, but, you know, people in the chat were talking, what if Gaetz doesn't get it? And I said, you know, if Gaetz doesn't get the job, that's okay. Whoever Trump's second pick is will do everything that Matt Gaetz is going to do and maybe even be more effective, because they can't go after everybody he picks for the job. And so far as Gaetz not getting the job, dropping out, there's some controversies about this. But whether or not the allegations against him are true or not, I really don't care. I care about Trump. And I don't think that anyone should get in the business right now that's MAGA of defending Matt Gaetz. He's dropped out. He withdrew his name. He's out. Okay, and Trump will name somebody new, and they may not be as famous or as controversial, but I promise you they will be at least equally, if not good, or better. Now,
I love the pick of Matt Gaetz.
I love Matt Gaetz.
Obviously, he had a meeting with all these senators last night. He left the meeting, and he said to the press, everything's great. Well, of course he's going to say that, but I think in the meeting, something spooked him. Something happened. There's a new allegation. I'm not saying it's true or not. Who knows? Probably not. But these women come forward when it's politically convenient. But I think they went to that meeting and they told him there's a new allegation coming out. It's in the Daily Mail today with another girl who said she was a minor. That's the second one. And they probably said to him, there's no way we can confirm you. It's not going to happen. And these were probably J.D. Vance was in the meeting and his friends. And the senators told him it's not happening. So he withdrew. And I think Trump's response speaks volumes, because the old Trump would have come out and defended him and claimed this is the deep state and this is they're attacking him and this is none of that. It's like moving on. We're moving on. Thank you. I respect you. On to the next. Trump does not have the time to play these reindeer games with the media and with politicians. And I think I think it's such a smart move, because when he does that, they have no ammunition to go with. They got nothing. He's on to the next.
Boom, boom, boom. And it is not unusual for presidents to have multiple picks. Yeah, Bill Clinton with attorney. Remember his attorney general was Janet Reno.
Yep.
She was his third pick. His first. I may get these two out of order because listen, it's been a long time, right? Can you believe it's been? It's been 30 years. But his first pick was Zoe Baer. And she had an incident. This seems so minor compared to, how things have changed. She had a nanny that she was paying under the table.
I remember that.
And they called it Nannygate. And since she did not pay taxes on the nanny.
Was she an illegal?
I don't remember. It's been 30. I'm sure it's on Wikipedia. Yeah. But she didn't pay taxes on what she paid the nanny because she paid her under the table. So she was out. The second choice was someone named Kimba Wood. if I remember, I could be a little off on the names, but I've got a pretty good memory. 30 years ago, Kimba Wood, she was the second pick. And there was something with her, if I remember correctly, was she the one that paid her lawn man under the table? So she didn't pay taxes. So there was something with her. It may not have been that, but and then the third pick was Janet Reno. Okay, so no big deal. Whoever Trump picks, the guy that he was picking for the deputy attorney general, who was his attorney in the New York case, the guy with the stone face, he might end up being the attorney general. He may make Whitaker the attorney general, who he's named as the UN ambassador. I don't. But whoever he picks will be fine. And
as long as they don't throw him under the bus like the previous one, and they do what he says.
What you were saying, Kathy, is right. What Trump is doing, and notice J.D. Vance, you don't see him doing interviews on this either. When they don't go out and explain themselves defend these people, the press run out of things to say, and it shuts down the controversy on a dime. And a lot of people...
And the news cycle's so quick. Yeah. It's like people's attention span, it's like
TikTok,
that's right. Like 30 seconds, boom.
A lot of people are going to get in the business of trying to defend Matt Gaetz. I'm not. I like Matt Gaetz a lot. I think he's a superstar rock star. It'll be an interesting thing to see what happens because he resigned from Congress, but he resigned from his current term that was still ongoing, and he just got reelected to another term. And there's a question as of the time we are speaking now, this could change in any second, that he could still come back to Congress because he just got reelected. We don't know. We'll see. That's fine.
They said all he has to do is write a letter letting
he just won re-election.
Person,
the Speaker of the House.
I think it was somebody else.
The Speaker. He has to write
that
he
intends to fulfill his.
Yeah.
So it should not be an issue.
So, maybe he'll do that. Maybe he won't. It depends if he, maybe he'll get a big job offer. Maybe the allegation's true, But a lot of people will get into a thing. Well, yeah, she was 17, but did he know? I've already seen some of that.
It's messy.
There's no need to defend Matt Gaetz. Okay, it's all about Trump. We don't want to get bogged down in these things, so it will be fine.
And Trump doesn't have the luxury of time. He obviously needs this is a very, very important pick because I believe Trump plans on investigating some of these people that went after him and exposing them, like Ray, Garland, all these people.
Yeah.
And he needs somebody who's going to do it and not be a coward and not be afraid. And so he is going to choose wisely. And it might be somebody, like you said, that you've never heard of. That's a good thing.
Or some background player. They may not be a superstar. Matt Gaetz is like an A-list celebrity in the MAGA movement, all right? They may not be that famous or A-list. Whoever Trump picks will be the perfect person. Trump's the boss. He knows what he's doing. Don't worry about anything. I wanted to talk, this young Turk guy, Chint Unger, whatever the heck his name is, he's talking like he's MAGA all of a sudden, okay? We got to be very careful about this stuff. You've heard me talk lately about there's a lot of people. Okay, I'll give you an example. MSNBC, it's being talked, is going to be sold off by Comcast.
Yep.
It's collapsing.
It's going to be totally rebranded. It might not even ever come back. So that'll be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it may go off the air and not return in any form, even with a new name. Who knows? The View is one step away from being off the air. You've seen a lot of liberal YouTubers and podcasters say that their views are down, they're losing subscribers. What's going on? What's happening? This is what's going on. The Democrat Party, since Trump came down the escalator, have been pouring big money inflating the popularity of liberals and never-Trumpers. Yeah. And there's nothing unethical about it. Ben Shapiro does this. What I mean by that is they pay a lot of money to advertise their YouTube channels or their podcast on Facebook or Google Ads and such, and it gets recommended to people. And that's something I don't do that because we're small little operation here, the Brian Craig Show. We don't have a budget for that. I wish I did. But they've been getting this backing by the Democrats and the never-Trumpers for 9 years, inflating their views, their subscribers, their listenership, and their reach for 9 years. They've all failed. And the reason their numbers are all of a sudden dwindling, it's not because liberals have turned off YouTube or television or podcast, the artificial inflation by the Never Trumper Democrat money they're not funding it anymore. And a lot of people, now this Chin Unger guy, I don't know the specifics of why he's doing what he's doing, but a lot of liberals are going to start talking like MAGA because they want to get on the MAGA train because their Democrat Never Trumper money is not coming in anymore. You've got to be very careful about this, and I'll tell you why. People can be legitimately red-pilled. I obviously, that's a thing. However, people that have spent a decade, like Mika Brzezinski or the Young Turks and Scarborough, trashing Trump, and then all of a sudden they've seen the light, right? A week after the election, 2 weeks after the election. The danger of this is letting these people inside of our movement and them getting a seat at the table, and then they start influencing the MAGA world. So you got to be very careful about letting these liberals that all of a sudden are saying good things about Trump into our world. I think it's a very, very dangerous thing to do that you got to do with caution. And you're going to see a lot of liberals do what's happening at MSNBC. Fade away because they're losing the Democrat sponsorship, support, or advertising dollars for their program or platform or whatever it is. Like Ben Shapiro, again, there's nothing unethical about this. All these big companies do it. I just don't have the money to do it, or I would advertise this show. I just don't have the money to do it. We've got a big following. Luckily, I been on the air for many years, so we got a big following, but it's all organic. Ben Shapiro is like the number one political podcast, right? That's because the Daily Wire spend millions of dollars advertising him on all the platforms, so it gets pushed to people. That's how it's. So when the Democrats and the Never Trumpers stop funding, have you ever wondered why some of these liberal big mouths that are so unlikable have so many viewers? It's because of this money that the Democrats have been pouring into marketing their programs. That's all gone now, and the Democrats right now are regrouping. And just because we've won everything doesn't mean that they've given up and folding shop and folding up their party.
Well, I read a story
just regrouping.
That they took a poll somewhere and that Kamala is still the favorite. That's BS. It's not going to happen.
She's done.
They need to hit a complete reset. And I think if they were smart, they would. They got a few mouthpieces out there. Hakeem Jeffries, they call him the Dollar Tree Obama, which is kind of funny.
Really?
Dollar store, something like that. He's out there, but they've been really quiet. You got a few people, like you said, but the thing with MSNBC, Comcast owned it, and now they basically have not put it in their main. I was reading a few articles on it. And I was trying to understand exactly what it meant, but basically what it means, I think, is that they are not putting any money into it now because they're going to sell it off, is what somebody said. There's different, it's kind of vague on what they did. They moved it from one category to another. And Bill O'Reilly said that they're going to sell it off. It's no longer considered like a good asset for Comcast.
Yeah.
So they're going to sell it. Bill O'Reilly said The View is in trouble. That ABC is going to cut that show loose. We'll see.
You know who I'd like to see buy MSNBC is Newsmax.
The thing think about it, yeah. Jack Posobiec's trying to raise money and get investors
a lot of people
for it, but you need so much money for that. The thing with, I told Brian, I said Trump Media should buy it. Don Jr. and Trump Media should buy MSNBC and make Megyn Kelly their top star.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And also Scott Jennings. Bring him over, throw a lot of money at it, and rebrand the whole thing. They said they're going to rebrand it, new name, new logos, everything. So I think they're going to sell it. But I would love Trump Media now is worth $10 billion. They could buy it, hire Megyn Kelly, Scott Jennings, and tell Megyn Kelly, who do you want? We'll bring over people, and they can make it the biggest thing, bigger than Fox, big as ever. And so it's no longer affiliated with NBC now, is what that move was about. It's no longer affiliated with the NBC
That hasn't gone through yet, has it?
It's going to.
It's in process.
And so think about it. You have Joy Reid. You have Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace. Think about the people that work there. Morning Joe. These are all people that will be out of work. They will no longer have a platform for the next election cycle. They will no longer be able to spew their lies. It's incredible. And then I think that people at CNN, Scott Jennings has become a big star now. And I saw, I don't watch that show. It's like a big round table of like 10 people. But I watch clips of him, and I think they've given him a segment at the end or something to give his 2 cents now. If they were smart, they'd give him a show.
He's the star of
he's amazing.
He's their number one guy.
They'd give him a show if they were smart, but they're not that smart. And they need to do that to save that network. But if The View goes away and MSNBC goes away, CNN, believe me, their views are down too. They're very panicked. There's a huge shift. Don't let these people like Joy Behar, who's not even relevant to me, but even though I'm talking about her, but don't let people like her convince you that Trump does not have a mandate or that doesn't have the majority of the public opinion. First of all, he does, because if you look at the electoral map, he won 84% of the counties, and she won 13%, 13.9. Okay. And only about 130 million people even voted, maybe 140 million. So half the country, obviously there's kids and things like that involved, but there's still people that just didn't vote either. But she's assuming that half the people hate him and this and that. I don't believe that. There's a major culture shift going on. I mean, look at these NFL players doing the Trump dance, and the NFL came out and said that they have no problem with it. They'll leave it up to the networks to decide whether to cover it or not. You have golfers doing it now. It's cultural now. It's become a cultural phenomenon. Trump's cool. MAGA's cool. The country's MAGA. And these liberal pundits are absolutely panicked. They're panicked because of MSNBC falls, and then The View, and then all you got left really is CNN. And they're bleeding viewers. So, and meanwhile, Fox, their viewers have gone up 50%.
And yeah, that's right.
I mean, this is because of the country and the way we're headed.
The big money people behind the Democrat Party that have seen the internal breakdowns of everything are like, there's just no audience for this anymore.
They're not wasting their money.
They're regrouping how they're going to do their whatever that is they do.
They'll come back, but they're not going to come back with. They're not going to come back with these people.
These are all poison people.
They're not. They're going to come back with,
all of them.
Right, with new people, new candidates, new everything. That is what I think is going on. They want to rebrand the whole party and get new blood in there and get new pundits and everything, because the way they see it, these people did not deliver. They didn't deliver and give them what they wanted. They failed.
That's right. Oh, and everybody knows about how bad inflation is. I mean, there's no getting around it. I know things cost more money, but I really don't get to see how much things have increased, because most things that we buy, you buy. You do all the shopping. I don't really do too much shopping. But I was at the mall a couple days ago.
I will say portions are smaller.
Yeah.
If you eat out, that's true.
I was at the mall a couple days ago.
Same price.
And I've not been to the mall in about a year. And I've been wearing since '87 checkerboard Van shoes, right? Okay, so and a pair of checkerboard Vans. I get the white checkerboard Vans, and so I've been wearing them for like almost 40 years, right? Checkerboard Vans. I still wear checkerboard Vans. And a pair of them will last me about 6 months. Okay, they're not expensive shoes. Well, they are now. They're not typically expensive shoes, and I wear them all the time. And you wear out where your big toe is. You wear it out, and you get a hole there, right? So I got a bunch of old pairs of them, and they all got holes in the toe. So when I start to see that part where my big toe is getting, I go buy a new pair. So I went to the mall when I was getting my phone fixed, and I went to the Vans store, and I was going to get a pair of checkerboard Vans, and usually what I'll do is I'll buy 2 pairs just to save the trip. I go once a year. I buy 2 pairs. They last me the whole year. I wear one pair, put the other pair, keep them in the box in the closet. And now since I've been buying them since '87, I've seen the price increases over the years. Mm-hmm. But for the last about 10 years, they've been the same price, $50. A few years ago, they went up to $55 a pair, but they've been $50, the checkerboard white Vans slip-ons, for 10 years. $50. And that's fine. I buy 2 pairs a year. That's $100 a year, you know. I went to the Van store 2 days ago. They were $75 a pair. 75. I didn't buy a pair. I'm going to wait. And I really want them because I like
prices will go down.
$75 a pair. That's like a, is that if they were 50 and went to 75, is that a 50% increase? That's a 50% increase, right? That's a lot, you know, for a pair of, and you look at how everything has gone up in the country. The reason I bring that up is we all know the prices have gone up, but a lot of times it happens you don't realize, and there's that's the only thing that I buy once or twice a year, and I know what the price is. So I got to see this big price jump, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, what are people doing that have children? And, you know, the prices are going to drop, I think, fast because the gas prices are going to go down with Trump, and the gas prices drive up the price of everything. Sadly, they won't drop in time for this Christmas. But my goodness, now I want to
wait. I got another theory here that somebody just put on X. What about if DeSantis makes him the senator?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Could he though?
Yes.
Well, what if he did?
I shouldn't say that may not happen. Now that
I don't think that was planned. I mean, I don't think
But why would he do that?
Well, because there's an opening. And he needs to fill it. You know, I know people are talking about Lara Trump. I like Lara Trump staying with the RNC. She did such a great job.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I know she wants it, but I don't need to see her as the senator. I would much rather see Matt Gaetz as the senator than a congressman. That's much more powerful. And I don't know if he's friendly with DeSantis. I mean, they did have he was helping him.
No,
remember that video on the treadmill? He was helping him prepare, so they've known each other.
Matt Gaetz worked with DeSantis during debate prep for the gubernatorial race.
So maybe he'll do that.
And so they are friends. It could happen.
Yeah, that might be something DeSantis, to watch out for.
DeSantis, though, then all of a sudden he becomes responsible for all these allegations against Gaetz if he does that, right? They'll all be looking to DeSantis for explanations if he does it. But then again, DeSantis has burned so many political bridges, he needs to way back in. It could be a way back in.
Trump might tell him, I want you to appoint him.
That would be awesome.
That could, people are already starting to mention it on X. That could happen.
The thing with Lara Trump, I mean, if it happens, it happens. I'm not crazy about that. You know, one of the reasons we did so well is because she was on the job with the RNC, with all the lawyers and everything around the country. And if she were to leave that to become a senator, now she can do both, but it's not the same. I think that Lara Trump, I would like to see her stay at the RNC, but she wanted to be a senator before, like 4 years ago, 8 years. There was in Virginia, remember? And then she had to drop out and all that stuff. I know she wants it, but I think she's better served at the RNC. I like Matt Gaetz in the Senate. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody just tweeted that to me, and they said, "What about this?"
Yeah,
and I think that could be something people are going to start talking about very soon. Tell us what you think. Who would you rather see, Gaetz or Lara Trump? I would rather see Gaetz as a senator. He clearly there's a lot of people that don't like him there. And
he's loved in Florida.
That's not a bad thing.
He's huge in
Florida. I don't care if the swamp doesn't like him. But I think what happened is, I think J.D. Vance, they had a meeting, and J.D. Vance told him, there's another allegation. It's probably not true, but this is just a mess, and we just can't have a mess. We got to get somebody appointed right away.
That'd be great.
And what he probably said to him was, you're going to have to go to the committee, and all this is going to come out, and all this stuff's going to come to light, and it's going to be a disaster for you, for MAGA. And he probably said, you're not going to get appointed. Boom. And I think J.D. Vance was the one who told him, and he did the right thing. But I am thinking that DeSantis will appoint him to get on Trump's good side.
Yeah. Now,
it's an idea.
I want to, and I hope that would be awesome. Matt Gaetz is loved in Florida big time, big time. Now, it's Christmas shopping season now. Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and there's no better place to do your Christmas shopping than MyPillow.com. You could use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout site-wide. There's huge deals, lowest prices ever on the MyPillows, the My Slippers, and many other items, okay? If you've got to buy for a lot of people, like maybe you're an employer, you got to buy Christmas gifts for your employees, MyPillow is a great gift. You can, with the great deals, you can get all of your workers great MyPillow products at incredible prices. It's free shipping on all orders over $75. If you have kids or grandkids, you got to buy for a lot of grandkids, or you got a big family get together, the MyPillows, everybody loves MyPillows for Christmas, or any of the MyPillow products. Anyone you give MyPillow products to, they're going to be grateful. They're going to have them for years and years and years. And it's a gift people will remember year after year. Do you remember what you got last year? What somebody gave you? Maybe, what you gave? Probably not. You give them the gift of a MyPillow or any of the great MyPillow products, they will remember. Huge savings with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. That's K-A-N-E at MyPillow.com. And remember, free shipping on all orders over $75. We're going to take our first break. There's a lot to cover. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Are you living the life that you want to live? Do you want to be empowered and take control of your life? Then add Empower with Nancy to your podcast playlist right now. Empower with Nancy is hosted by life and business coach Nancy Davidson. Her passion is helping people just like you tap into your unique strengths, embrace your leadership potential, and live a life of fulfillment one day at a time. Each episode tackles real-life challenges. Recent show topics include being authentically you without judgment, overcoming the struggles of not feeling good enough at work, and how to conquer fears that keep you awake. Whether you're looking to boost your confidence, find your voice, or overcome personal hurdles, Empower with Nancy will guide you. Add Empower with Nancy to your podcast playlist right now on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Empower with Nancy, because your best life starts right now. Missing My Best Friend from author Linda Costarella is a touching children's chapter book about 8-year-old Daniel, whose best friend and next-door neighbor Jonathan has moved away. Daniel is troubled because his friend is gone. On top of that, Jonathan had said he wouldn't be able to speak to Daniel after he moved. Daniel loves animals and volunteers to assist at a local pet shop. Despite his shyness, he eventually meets his new neighbor and makes other friends. Later, Daniel is surprised when he learns the reason Jonathan had said he wouldn't be able to talk to him. This heartwarming story also takes readers into the future to find out what became of Daniel, Jonathan, and the new neighbor after they were all grown up and on their own. Missing My Best Friend includes a glossary and some discussion questions to help young readers. Missing My Best Friend from author Linda Costarella is available on Amazon. Get your copy today. Also, Linda Costarella is a proud member of Author Reader Connection, a group of children's book authors who enjoy conducting virtual author visits in schools and other locations such as libraries, summer camps, and senior centers. Check out their website, authorreaderconnection.com, to see what the Author Reader Connection writers have to offer. Are you ready to transform your living space with a touch of modern elegance and quality craftsmanship? Look no further than AlphaFurnishings.com. AlphaFurnishings.com is your go-to destination for premium metal and acrylic furniture legs that are truly exceptional. They have a wide range of sizes and a spectrum of vibrant colors so that you'll find the perfect match for your furniture. Their exclusive features make each furniture leg a masterpiece just waiting to enhance your home decor. Whether you want to have a contemporary makeover of your sofa or a cabinet that's in need of chic transformation, AlphaFurnishings.com has you covered. Their goal is to make a difference in furniture design. They create innovative products that can save and modernize your furniture. They've gone from a small apartment to 2 warehouses, and they have a simple message: small spending, large return, and an instant facelift. Elevate your home with AlphaFurnishings.com. You can also find them on Etsy. Just search for Alpha Modern Furnishing. Go right now to AlphaFurnishings.com and begin your furniture transformation journey. AlphaFurnishings.com. No Dog Food Please, from author Linda Costarella, is an engaging children's novel narrated by a Labrador retriever named Jack, who has been relocated to a working farm in upstate New York. From a grumpy grandpa to a recently adopted and very active 4-year-old boy, several interesting characters live on this multi-generational farm. Many fascinating events occur throughout the story. Family members experience their share of ups and downs. They learn to adapt and adjust to life circumstances, which makes them grow closer. Jack has a hard time dealing with Grandpa, who is convinced that dogs should eat dog food and stay outdoors. Jack longs for his previous owner and the wonderful food he was fed. Eventually, he finds a nice place for himself and his new family. No Dog Food Please, from author Linda Costarella, is humorous and heartwarming. A glossary and discussion questions are included to help young readers. So far, No Dog Food Please has won 3 awards. According to Rich Follett from Reader's Favorite, the book ranges beyond simple entertainment or diversion into the territory of essential life lessons, and as such becomes an important work with the potential to span generations. No Dog Food Please, from author Linda Costarella, is available on Amazon. Get your copy today. Also, author Linda Costarella is a proud member of Author Reader Connection, a group of children's book authors who enjoy conducting virtual author visits in schools and other locations, such as libraries, summer camps, and senior centers. Check out their website, authorreaderconnection.com, to see what the Author Reader Connection writers have to offer.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is Kathy with Brian on the Brian Craig Show podcast. And I just saw on X that Marjorie Taylor Greene will be appointed as on the subcommittee for DOGE, the new efficiency team with Elon Musk and Vivek.
Department of Government Accountability.
Department of Government Efficiency, I think.
Yeah,
Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes, efficiency.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be on the subcommittee for that. I also put a poll on your community section of the YouTube. Who would you like to see Ron DeSantis appoint as the Marco Rubio replacement for Florida senator? And you have 3 options. You have Lara Trump, Matt Gaetz, or neither. So right now, Matt Gaetz is in the lead. I just put it up there, so please vote on that. Our polls get a lot of votes. Some get one time we got like 6,000 votes
on our poll.
We get more than some of these Rasmussen and other pollsters.
You know, we were talking in the first segment about MSNBC, in Scarborough and all the.
Oh yeah.
I want you to think about, okay, this purge that's going on of these poison broadcasters, there's still going to be liberals on the air, and there'll be a new crop of liberals. But the people that we have now, the MSNBC crowd and The View, these are vile, very self-important, just disgusting people. I mean, imagine what it's going to be like when we get our news back to like being real news.
Oh yeah, you told me they overturned the Jussie Smollett. The Illinois Supreme Court. Well, Illinois is a very blue state. Okay, a bunch of liberal snowflakes. So the Supreme Court overturned his conviction.
Well, is it the Supreme Court of Illinois?
Yeah, of Illinois. It says the special prosecutor who investigated Jussie Smollett's bizarre anti-Trump hoax slammed today's surprise ruling from the Illinois Supreme Court that overturned his conviction on a technicality. U.S. Attorney Dan Webb told Daily Mail in a statement that the ruling has nothing to do with Mr. Smollett's innocence, and the legal reasoning upends long-standing Illinois precedent. The court found that the former Empire actor had his rights violated by the special prosecutor's decision to retry him after initial charges against him were dropped, with an agreement that he would not be charged. So maybe Trump should pick this prosecutor as his attorney general, Dan Webb. No, I'm just kidding. If he's in Illinois, forget it. But so that's interesting there about Jussie Smollett. And then there was an article today.
Well, the thing with Jussie Smollett, okay, let's talk about this guy. What he did, anybody else would go to prison for that. Okay, he filed false police reports.
That's incredible.
He filed false police reports about major felonies during a time when there was a lot of violence going on in the country. It was like the BLM time, and after George Floyd, and he looked so ridiculous with that noose around him. He called the police. He still had the noose that he made himself. And what he did was so destructive. It's insane that they've tossed that. The thing about Jussie Smollett, I watched that show he was on, Empire, before this happened, the first season. Mm-hmm. He's a very talented actor and a very good singer. That show was very good, the first season of it. And he'll probably get his career back now. It's just, what he did is disgusting. And what he did, it doesn't quite rise to the level. Okay, Susan Smith, right? She's in the news lately. She killed her kids years ago, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
they denied her bail, which is good because she's a monster.
Or parole.
And parole, I mean, yeah.
She killed her kids. Now, Jussie Smollett didn't kill anybody, but he did something similar to her. When she killed her kids, she said that she was carjacked by a black man. And I remember at the time when Susan Smith did, because it was a very high-profile story when it happened, they wanted her charged with hate crimes because she was promoting racial hatred against black men, accusing this. She made up this story that a black man did it. Jussie Smollett, alleged that white MAGA people on the south side of Chicago at like 2:00 in the morning launched a racial attack on him. Why is he not sought after for hate crime against white people when he's stirring up racial anger like that?
Well, because he lives in a very blue state, and haven't the black men suffered enough?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the great white savior. They love to feel that they're doing penance for whatever.
But this
sins, which they have nothing to do with.
The stuff that's going on with the media. Okay, I was very surprised this morning. The lead story in the Daily Mail was about a very old story.
It's gone off the Daily Mail. I've been looking. It's gone.
They took it down about the dead intern at Scarborough's office.
Facebook group. Let me see if I could find. Yeah, I've been looking and looking. Here it is.
Well, click it and see if the link is still good.
Let's see.
Did they take the story off their site?
Okay. I didn't see it on the main page, but this was like you said. Go ahead and it was the main lead story this morning.
Joe Scarborough, he used to be a Republican congressman from Florida, and there was a 20-something. I need the story. I can remember enough of it.
You're saying he's petrified.
There's when he was a Republican member of Congress from Florida, there was a 20-something-year-old female intern who was found dead in his office. I can't remember if it was his campaign office or local congressional office. It doesn't matter. And there's always been, here in Florida, since this happened, there's always been these strange rumors around it that he was connected and that the autopsy was wrong. And there's always been.
She worked in Scarborough's Florida office.
His congressional office or campaign?
Florida office as a member of Congress, representing the same district as Gaetz. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and and the thing about it is that there's always been talk that Scarborough and his family had connections to the medical examiner. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what's been talked about for years, and they pulled strings about the autopsy. I don't know. It's never really been thoroughly investigated.
It's like Chappaquiddick in a way. It's
maybe
kind of similar to what Ted Kennedy was dealing with.
It could be. It's odd. And the story in the Daily Mail said that they were alleging in the Daily Mail. I'm not. The Daily Mail did that Joe and Mika went to Mar-a-Lago because he's petrified that the Trump Justice Department will reopen this case about the dead 20-something intern.
Trump has made comments about it, alluding to that something happened.
And I don't think that the Trump administration has time to focus on Joe Scarborough.
No, but they got bigger fish to fry.
This is just him being very self-important and thinking that he's the center of the universe, this egomaniac. But when we get our media back, the country will be a healthier thing. We don't want people that have differing opinions to be silenced, but they've weaponized the news. And the news is no longer the news. The news on CNN, they used to just read the news, right? And then this editorializing started where they talk. None of the news channels report news. They just talk about the news. They have Matt Gaetz dropped out, and then they talk about it all day. They don't give you facts. They don't do the news anymore. They do a talk show like we're doing, but they call it news when they're really just basically what the news has become. It's 24 hours of The View. It's just people sitting around the table, and
but would you watch it if it was just news? Would you watch it if it was back to the old?
I don't watch it now.
No, but we watch sometime. We'll watch clips, okay?
on
Everybody
Twitter.
just watches clips on
Twitter.
X now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably another reason a lot of the view. Of course, Fox views are way up again, but a lot of people watch clips, and they had one guy on MSNBC, some older guy, and he said, I don't know how we can be relevant anymore because people just go on X and look at clips and stuff and get their news that way. And X has become the main source of news for people in the country right now. And, you got to be careful. Not everything you read on there, but that goes with everything. I mean, the liberal media lies about everything. I
get my news more from...
I don't know if people would watch the news if it was just straight news.
I don't think they're watching it now. What I've been trying to tell you guys is the news that we have now. There's a lot of times, like I'll play clips from The View, and when I'm live streaming on YouTube, I'll see people in the chat say, "Why do you watch that garbage?" I don't watch The View, and I don't think very many people do. But when something happens, the clips are on X, Twitter, right? And the same thing goes with the cable news. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox. I don't watch news. I don't watch any of it. If something interesting happens, I will see the clip on X or on one of the news websites that I go to, and then I'll pull up the audio and play it on the podcast or on the radio or something. So I don't.
But it wasn't that way before. We used to watch when Trump ran the first time. We used to have Fox on in the house all day long.
Yeah.
In the background, we would be doing stuff. You'd be working or doing things.
Because the liberals were running Twitter then.
The main TV. And now we never have it on the TV.
Never.
I mean, I might watch Outnumbered once in a while. I like that show. It depends on who they have on. I'll watch, Jesse's got a good show, but I don't really watch him. I watch clips. Like, they'll just show the highlights. And, that's the way it's become with people now. They don't want to spend the time. It's a culture change. It's not just about the messaging. It's also that people are like, why should I sit down and watch an hour of this show when I can just see the best parts on X tomorrow and I'll go watch a movie instead?
I think people just don't want to be spoon-fed what to think, and I think people want to go through and find what they want to know about on their own, right? Like this thing with Matt Gaetz as an example. Matt Gaetz dropping out today, we saw it on X. It popped up on X, and it was on X
so then we put on the news for 10 minutes.
And it wasn't on TV quite yet. It took them a few minutes to get it on the news, and that's breaking news. So it's faster on X. And even on election night, I was getting the vote counts online. The New York Times, their vote counter was the most up to date. I was getting it from them, their prediction scale, something like that. The television news. But the thing about the television news is irrelevant, not because people don't want to watch TV or watch it online. It's they don't want the content. The consumer of news does not want the product that they are selling. They're selling a product that no one wants.
Yeah.
That's
probably more of it because
it.
It dropped after the election like 50% overnight. It dropped. So I guess there are still a lot of news junkies. So here's another interesting thing about Gaetz. I put this poll up and somebody left a comment. What about Gaetz running for governor in 2 years?
He probably could win that in Florida. We don't.
That's another interesting possibility.
We have
people like him here.
We have term limits in Florida, so DeSantis is out. Not that he could win. Everybody hates him in Florida, and Matt Gaetz is a rock star in the state of Florida.
Where would you rather see Gaetz, as the governor? I'd rather see him as a senator, but I don't know if he'd. I don't know how he'd do handling hurricanes, and to be a governor, it's not just about voting and arguing on Capitol Hill. Yeah. You have to manage. In Florida,
well, DeSantis didn't have any experience, and he was in the House before this.
Yeah, but he's good at managing things like that and dealing with the hurricane stuff. Matt Gaetz, I don't know if he wants that kind of responsibility is what I'm saying. It's
Matt,
a huge responsibility to be the governor of a state like
well,
this.
the thing is, we don't, as crazy as this sounds, because this is, the MAGA movement is based out of Florida. The president lives here, and everything's being run out of Florida, and he's picked a lot of Florida people. But we don't really have someone who's standing up that looks like they're going to run for governor as a Republican. And if we don't have like a strong candidate, the Democrats could win. As MAGA as Florida is, there's some big Democrat areas in Florida. So if we don't have like a rock star gubernatorial candidate for governor, the Democrats could win it.
So you think he should go for the governor spot?
That's not a bad. I mean, I like Byron Donalds, but when I've been at the events that Matt Gaetz has been at, it's always been in Florida. So most everybody there has been from Florida. People go nuts when he walks in the room. I mean, he is in Florida. Matt Gaetz is after the Trump family. He's one of the top 1 or 2 people in Florida that people go nuts for.
Well,
he's hugely popular.
Here's what I'm thinking. It just popped in my head. DeSantis technically can nominate him, put himself in that spot, but he's not going to do that because he looked like a jerk and everybody would make fun of him. But I think it's possible that he might put somebody in the senator spot that he thinks he can beat in 2 years.
Oh, and run for Senate?
And run for Senate. And if there's a lot of scandal around Matt Gaetz...
They're giving a lot of smarts to DeSantis, who's self-destructive.
No. I know. I'm not saying he can win, but you got to understand he's deluded. And his wife is deluded. And if he might be thinking, Matt Gaetz has a lot of scandal around him. There's a lot of allegations. And if I appoint him, I can maybe beat him. I can't beat Lara Trump. She's too loved. Too many people like her. But he might put somebody in that spot that he could run against.
You never know. He's pretty desperate, DeSantis.
Seriously. I mean, he's weighing everything.
He's in a bad spot, DeSantis.
And he is going to be thinking about that kind of stuff because I think he's going to want to. I mean, where else is DeSantis going to go? Where else is he going to go? If he had never run for president, I think, and if he had never exposed himself as anti-Trump, I think he would have been either the VP or the attorney general.
Yeah.
For sure. But he is a JAG lawyer. And now that's over. He has really nowhere to go because his term limit's
He doesn't
up.
want to go to work in a regular job as a lawyer.
Believe me, so I'm thinking he's going to appoint somebody to that seat that he can beat and run against in 2 years. That's just my thinking.
I would love it if he made Ron DeSantis made Matt Gaetz the senator. I'd love that. That
Lara
would be
Trump,
great.
I don't think he could beat, but I don't know. But do you think that that's in his mind? Do you think
It
he's
could be.
thinking about that way?
It depends on how in touch he is with reality, how
he's
unpopular
not.
he is. DeSantis.
I mean, he ran against Trump. Obviously, he's not in touch with reality. He thought he could beat Trump, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk to everybody about Tom Laporta, Laporta Contracting and Roofing. No matter where you are in the state of Florida and no matter what type of structure you have, whether it's residential or commercial or municipal or a huge condominium community or a small single-family home and everything in between, Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing can help you. He's a good MAGA guy. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. He works with every type of roofing material there is. Also, since he's also a contractor, not just a roofer, in Florida, as a contractor, Tom Laporta is able to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, which saves a lot of time. You may not have to hire a public adjuster. Some people have to go to attorneys to get their insurance companies to pay up. And Tom can handle all that for you. We give you his cell phone number. He only gives his cell phone number out to our listeners. If you go to the website, his cell phone number is not on the website, okay? So write this down. Call Tom Laporta on his cell phone, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, or you can text him, by the way, too. He and I text a lot. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take a quick break and be right back.
Are you 55 and feel like life's best moments are in the rearview mirror? Think again. Author Michael Cook will show you that turning 55 is just the beginning of a vibrant, fulfilling journey in his book, Over 55 and Alive. With humor, heartfelt stories, as well as actionable, practical advice, author Michael Cook will take you on a transformative path through the joys and the challenges of this milestone. When you read Over 55 and Alive, you'll discover how to embrace change, foster meaningful relationships, and unlock new passions. You will learn how to thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally in your golden years. From maintaining your health and building resilience to finding joy in those everyday moments, Over 55 and Alive will empower you to live with vitality and with purpose. Author Michael Cook shares insights on family dynamics, community involvement, and the power of gratitude to create a life that's rich with both experiences and connections. Embrace the future with grace and confidence and order your copy of Over 55 and Alive from author Michael Cook. You will be inspired to live fully and prove that the best is yet to come. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and over55andalive.com. Make the most of every moment. Order your copy today. Over 55 and Alive from author Michael Cook. More than 100 years ago, Frank Stockton wrote an open-ended short story titled The Lady or the Tiger. The story was very popular at the time, but readers had to decide for themselves how it ended. That is, whether the young man opened the door behind, which stood the lady he would marry, or the door behind which stood a hungry tiger ready to devour him. Author Linda Costarella's continuation of the original Stockton story became her first book, a young adult novelette titled The Lady or the Tiger, The Young Man Must Choose. Once you pick up this book, it'll be tough to put it down because the writing is compelling. It will keep you glued to your seat until the very end. The Lady or the Tiger, The Young Man Must Choose includes a glossary to help young readers, and it's available on Amazon. Order your copy today. Also, author Linda Costarella is a proud member of Author Reader Connection, a group of children's book authors who enjoy conducting virtual author visits in schools and other locations, such as libraries, summer camps, and senior centers. Check out their website, authorreaderconnection.com, to see what the Author Reader Connection writers have to offer. Imagine a home that's as cozy as it is connected, where every room works seamlessly to make your life easier. At smartlyhomely.com, smart technology meets everyday comfort. Smartlyhomely.com have everything you're looking for, from creating a soothing ambiance with their water droplet air humidifier and dimmable touch lamp. They'll keep your home spotless too with their smart robot sweeper and sensor trash can. Smartlyhomely.com makes smart living effortless. You can transform your kitchen with their smart oil-free air fryer and portable smoothie blender, or feel secure with their solar wireless security camera and smart video doorbell. At smartlyhomely.com, every product is designed to enhance your routine, simplify your day, and bring comfort to every corner of your home. Smartlyhomely.com rigorously tests every product for quality, and they're backed by exceptional support, making your home smarter one room at a time. At smartlyhomely.com, you'll also find great gifts for the holidays. Visit the store right now and discover a new way to live smarter and more comfortably. Smartlyhomely.com. Make it homely. Make it smart. Smartlyhomely.com. Looking for the ultimate shopping experience? Introducing BillionDrip.com. BillionDrip.com is your new all-in-one online store. From cutting-edge electronics and gadgets to stylish home essentials, fitness gear, and beauty products that'll make you glow. BillionDrip.com got it all. Why hop between stores when everything you need is just a click away? BillionDrip.com combines convenience, quality, and unbeatable deals for a drip of excellence in every department. BillionDrip.com. Shop smart. Shop everything. Visit BillionDrip.com today. That's BillionDrip.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Nancy Mace won this bathroom thing.
Yes.
Two things happened. First, Mike Johnson said you have to be a man to use the men's room. And then the transgender Congress person said they'll abide by it. So they're
really?
Yeah, so they're going to use the men's room, I guess. or not P. I don't know. For 2 years, I don't know. At least not in the Capitol. I don't know what the plan is with that.
Well, he's
but
a man.
She won
so
that.
He could just keep a little receptacle under his desk and pee in that.
Well, do that.
He could do that. The men do that.
I would
truck
imagine
drivers do that kind of stuff.
When you're new in Congress, you get the worst and smallest offices. So, but a lot of the offices have to have their own bathroom, but maybe not somebody that's brand new to Congress, especially in the minority party. They may not have a bathroom.
It's a good
in their
decision,
office.
And I'm.
But you know what's going to happen now?
A little surprised they did it so quickly. But
I knew they.
Well, they're saying Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of forced his hand because she did an interview and said that he was going to do that, and then he came out right after and said it. So I think she just kind of
nudged him.
Let the cat out of the bag.
That's amazing. Now the thing with Matt Gaetz, now that that's happened, they're going to put all their attention on Pete Hegseth. Okay, and they've got this allegation against him from this woman in California.
I'm so sick of these women.
If you read up on this story, it was in Monterey. The woman went to the police. The police investigated and even went over surveillance videos at this hotel. The police almost arrested and charged her.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
So she obviously made everything up.
Yeah.
And this happened around that time of the Me Too stuff. And there's a lot of people out there, and Pete Hegseth was not married at the time. He was between wives.
That's going nowhere.
During that Me Too thing, there's a lot of women out there at that time who would go after either rich or famous men. They get a payday. They want a payday. Yeah. It's like winning the lottery, depending on who the guy is. And I guess she saw it as her ship coming in. But they're gonna start going after Pete Hegseth with everything. And he did come out and speak today. Didn't say too much, but he came out for the first time. It was the first time we saw him today. And in a way, Trump always knows what he's doing. But in a way, you don't want to give them too much advance notice on who your nominees are going to be. Right. You want to, maybe you want to not name them so early. He hasn't given any
notice, really. There's a few we knew, but a lot
of
these
the hearings are far away.
Right.
So the hearings are like 2 months away. So you want to tell people like maybe the day before the hearings who you're nominating so that there's not like a month or two of discussion in the media about all this crap.
He's giving them plenty of time.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's why we're not hearing as many big names, yet. Yeah. I mean, we've heard some other ones for other offices, but they're going to put everything on the left against Pete Hegseth because they're feeling a sense of relief that Matt Gaetz isn't going to be the attorney general, which is really stupid of them because believe me, Trump's not that whole going after the lawfare criminals isn't going to end with this.
It's too bad Don Jr. is not a lawyer.
Yeah. But
he could make him the attorney general.
But Pete Hegseth since the Matt Gaetz announcement, Pete Hegseth has been on the back burner with the attacks. Now everything is going to be on Pete Hegseth.
I don't think they got much on the guy, so I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
Everybody likes Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like Pete Hegseth. Who is that guy that used to be on Fox that goes to all the different news channels and he always has problems with women, sexual harassment and stuff? He cheated on his wife. You know what I'm talking about? He was on Fox.
Oh, Ed Henry.
Okay. This is what a gentleman Pete Hegseth is. And I didn't realize it at the time. I thought he was being a jerk, and now I know why he was doing it. Pete Hegseth used to be co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends with, what was that name again?
Ed Henry.
Ed Henry. And Ed Henry has a long history of problems with extramarital affairs with women that work at the place he works. And Pete Hegseth made it part of Fox and Friends Weekend every weekend to compete in some activity against Ed Henry. And Pete Hegseth always won. Sometimes it was athletic. Sometimes it was stupid things like croquet or throwing rings over pop bottles. And he would always win. And at the time, I thought, Pete's a little bit of a jerk because Ed Henry is a pudgy guy who's out of shape. He's and of course he's going to beat him in everything, but even things that weren't athletic, Pete Hegseth would beat him. And every week he was humiliating Ed Henry. And I thought Pete Hegseth's got a little bit too much of an ego here. And then I realized after we found out about Ed Henry that he was doing it on purpose, Pete Hegseth, because Ed Henry is so disrespectful to women. Pete Hegseth was disgusted by Ed Henry's mistreatment of women and was doing these competitions, humiliating him on purpose to defend the honor of these women that he's sexually harassing. I think Pete Hegseth is awesome. And if they had to choose between, if they could only get rid of one, the Democrats, Gaetz or Pete Hegseth, it would be a difficult choice for them, because Pete Hegseth is going to undo all this crap they've been doing in the military. And one of the things that
I'm more excited about Pete Hegseth than I was about Matt Gaetz. I would if I had to choose, I'd choose Pete Hegseth.
Pete's going to be more effective than Gaetz would be.
Yeah, he's very sharp. And not that Matt Gaetz isn't, but Matt Gaetz makes a lot of enemies.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't play in the sandbox as well as maybe he should sometimes. And people might say, well, that's a good thing. Yeah, but look where it's getting him now. I mean, it's hurting his career.
Well, one of the things
you have to learn, and I think Trump has learned this, you have to learn a bit of the finesse of politics.
Yeah.
And you need to learn, like when Trump came in the first time, he was very combative with everybody, and rightfully so. I understand that. He's not doing that anymore because he has realized it is a distraction. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
You will never win these people over, and I'm not going to get mired down by all this BS. I'm just going to focus and get the job done.
Well,
and Gaetz likes to mix it up. He's young, and I think when he's older,
he likes to argue.
He'll look back and realize I probably could have handled it differently. Maybe I shouldn't have gone up to Kevin McCarthy and humiliated him on the floor of the RNC that went viral and all this stuff. And he just doesn't always have the right finesse.
Well, one of the things with Pete Hegseth,
Madison Cawthorn had the same issue, I think.
There's more for him to do than fire these generals and take care of this transgendered stuff. One of the things that's been going on, which has got to be illegal, is the military have been giving military equipment and supplies from our forces through the Pentagon directly to Ukraine during all of this to get around the spending, right? And that's got to be criminal.
Yeah.
It's got to be illegal. What I mean, they're giving them like tanks and weapons.
Yeah, that to me is a more pressing issue.
And Pete Hegseth is going to expose that. And that is probably there's no doubt it's got to be criminal. You know, and that's on top of all the money we're giving Ukraine. And when all this information comes out, I think it's going to be shocking. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you all for your support. And remember, Patreon supporters, you have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. Now, the Lincoln Riley trial's over. The guy got forever in prison.
Yeah.
And I brought this up today, and you and I were talking about this yesterday when the sentence came down, which was so fast. I don't ever remember a sentence coming down as fast as this. I mean, it was pretty amazing. It was not. You don't see this in the U.S. court system. I mean,
I think I'm glad he got this sentence. You know, no.
He got off
chance
easy
for parole.
Lucky to get the death penalty.
I'm not for the death penalty. I'm pro-life.
I am too, but this guy's pretty bad.
No, I know, but still, I'm pro-life, and he'll just rot in jail. That's fine with me.
He'll be in jail with his friends from the gang.
Fine, whatever.
He might want to be there.
I don't care. But no, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Well, the thing about that, you and I were talking about this yesterday, Kathy. Would the judge have handed down such a harsh sentence if Kamala would have won? the judge would, of course, found him guilty, and sentenced him to prison. But would he have given him this 10,000-year sentence that he gave? Because he, life on all these different charges. I mean, there's no hope of parole.
I know what I was going to say.
Would the sentence have been as harsh?
I think it would have been, but I don't think it would have been as quick.
Yeah. Because
do you think he made a mistake choosing to not go with a jury? I think he did. I think his lawyers assumed that with a jury, he would have been convicted no matter what.
Oh yeah, he wasn't getting away.
But I think they assumed a jury would, lock him up and throw away the key. But you never know. And 12 people on a jury, is it 9 or 12 now? I can't remember. I think 12, or 9. It's an odd number, right?
No, it's 12.
Okay, 12. But with that many people on the jury, you might have a couple that are liberal that sympathize with the illegal.
Get a hung jury.
And there could have been all you need is one. There could have been a possibility, right? You need a unanimous vote to have a conviction. And there could have been one or two people that could have known somebody who was an illegal or had a family member and sympathized, and they might have had to go with a lesser sentence. So I think that they rolled the dice, and I'm glad he got what he got, but I think his team made a mistake by going with a judge. A judge on a high-profile case like this is not going to be lenient. I mean, of course, the woman who's in charge, she's like I can't remember her name, but she took the death penalty off the table because she's a big liberal kook. So if she was the judge, she probably would have set him free. So they took a chance. I'm glad the judge did the right thing. Could you imagine if he got some big liberal judge that said no? Could you imagine the outrage that would have occurred in this poor family? So I'm glad they got justice. And I saw the video footage of when the cops told the mother that her daughter was been found. Oh my God, it was horrific.
I couldn't watch it.
She looks like her mother. And her best friend posted videos of her on X of them hanging out, and she looked like a nice girl who had her whole future ahead of her. Just a totally senseless thing. And the thing that's even the most disgusting is not only did we pay to bring this scumbag in, that Biden's team flew him to that area on a plane that we paid for, and now. The only thing I would say that's good about the death penalty is now we got to support this guy for the rest of his life in jail. The taxpayers have to pay for this, and that's not right. So if you have the death penalty, you don't have to do that. But I am pro-life. But that's the only bad thing is that he was brought in. He killed an American citizen, a young girl. We had to pay for his trial. The government paid to fly him to Georgia to relocate him. He did try to go into an apartment. They have a video of him.
I saw that video.
He was hunting.
He was going door to door looking for a girl to rape.
Looking for a door to be open.
I never seen anything
This is why
like
you
it.
always lock your door. I always tell Emily, always keep your door locked no matter what. Because he was just going in and trying to see if the door was open and go in. And then he just was, that's what these guys do. They hunt. And they're in a mood and they want to rape and kill somebody and they're going to do it. And anyway, I'm glad her family got some kind of closure, but still, obviously, they'd like to have their daughter back. It's horrible.
Obviously, the guy would have been found guilty if Kamala won. However, I don't think the trial would have been on TV as much as it was if Kamala would have won. And
some would have been a little different.
It wouldn't have been,
right.
yeah. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain 6 times. Okay, his laser wave pain treatment works, and the time I was talking this morning about when he got rid of my arthritis. I had arthritis. I didn't know it was arthritis. I had this massive pain in my right index finger, and it's the finger that I use when people use profanity on the radio. There's a button I push to cut out the profanity. It's that button, and I use it so much over the years that it's given me arthritis. And I didn't know it was arthritis. My finger was hurting so much. I thought I jammed it on something. You ever jam your fingers? I used to do it all the time when I used to play basketball and stuff when I was a kid. And I remember, Kathy, I would have you pull on my finger to try, because that's how, when you have like your fingers jammed, you pull on them to pull the joint. I would have you pull. I was in so much pain. And I went to see Dr. Appleton. He says, Brian, you've got arthritis. And I said, oh, I'm done. Because I've known, I've had grandparents that have had arthritis in their fingers, and that's it, right? I'm like, oh, it's the beginning of the end. And he gave me the laser treatment on my finger, my right index finger, 2 treatments, the arthritis pain gone. It has not returned. And it's been about a year. It's amazing. His laser wave pain treatment works. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. It is 100% painless, no surgery, no drugs, no injections, no shots. Appointments are not necessary. And we've had listeners fly to Florida from all over America to see Dr. Philip Appleton and take advantage of his laser wave pain treatment. Give him a call. Now, if you're local, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. But if you're flying in from out of town, I would call ahead and make an appointment if you're flying in from out of town, okay? You don't have to, but I'd recommend it. His number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Make sure you say hi to Dr. Appleton from me. Oh, yeah, you were showing me during the break on The View today, Sunny Hostin had to do another disclaimer for Matt Gaetz and a legal disclaimer for Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, and I don't, yesterday it was funny watching her do a legal disclaimer. She was really pissed. But now it's like becoming a joke, and it's giving them too much credibility to read off these legal disclaimers. It's becoming a thing. Now she read one today.
You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think she's just doing it for a bit.
No, they're forcing her to do it.
It's like a joke.
But they're making it like a joke now, and the audience is laughing about it now. And now it's losing its impact because she had to read another statement about Hegseth and Matt Gaetz, and she's reading it, and because they're threatening to sue. But stop making them read legal notices. Just sue them. Just sue them, okay? Because it's becoming a joke now, and you're making them too credible. Just sue these ladies for what they're saying. I don't know why they're letting them have an out. But anyway, so I want to say that about that. And then I wanted to mention one more thing. I just learned, if anybody at all is interested in this, because this is my area of interest, on PBS, there's a new documentary about Leonardo da Vinci. It just came out. Ken Burns did it, and it's a 2-parter. It's on pbs.org. It's free. It's called Leonardo da Vinci, and you can also record it on PBS. So I will be watching that. I haven't seen it. I don't know how accurate it is. It's Ken Burns, so you said he's pretty good. I mean, I know a lot about Da Vinci.
Ken Burns is very liberal, but his documentaries are good.
Yeah, I've read a lot of books on him, and that was my main area of study in college was art history with the Italian Renaissance. I studied in Florence, so I know a lot about it. But if you're interested, if you're an art lover like me, pbs.org, Leonardo da Vinci, it's a 2-part documentary. It just came out.
Well, we're out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time.